The champagne flute hovered halfway to my lips when I felt a sharp tap on my shoulder. I turned to find Ashley, my new sister-in-law, her face arranged in a smile that didn't reach her cold, assessing eyes. My brother, Tyler, lingered a step behind her, unable to meet my gaze. "Isabella," Ashley said, her voice a saccharine whisper meant only for me, "I think it's time for you to go. The reception vibe is shifting, and honestly, your energy is just a bit much for the core group." I blinked, certain I'd misheard. "Ashley, I'm Tyler's sister. I'm the maid of honor." "Not anymore," she said smoothly. "We felt a family-only dinner was more intimate, and you're sort of a reminder of the stressful planning phase." She glanced at Tyler, who gave a weak, confirming nod. "Yeah, Izzy, maybe it's better if you just head home early. We'll catch up later." A wave of cold disbelief washed over me. "You're asking me to leave my brother's wedding? The wedding I paid for half of?" Ashley's mask slipped, revealing pure contempt. "That was your choice. A gift is a gift. It doesn't buy you a permanent seat at the head table." She leaned in. "Security will escort you out if needed. Don't make a scene." My name is Isabella. I'm a 31-year-old software consultant whose success has made me, in my family's eyes, a functional ATM. When Tyler called 6 months ago, gushing about his engagement to Ashley, I'd felt only joy. "Izzy, you're the successful one," he'd said, his tone shifting. "Ashley's family can't contribute much, and Mom and Dad, well, you know their situation. We were hoping you could cover the big stuff, the venue, the catering, the flowers." The number he sheepishly suggested was close to $45,000. "Consider it my wedding gifts," I'd said, my love for him overriding the unease in my gut. Ashley immediately seized the phone. "You're such a lifesaver, Isabella. I mean, you don't have a husband or kids to spend on, so it's perfect, right?" The comment stung, but Tyler had laughed it off. "She's just being practical, you know you can afford it." Thus began my demotion from sister to financier. Ashley's requests became imperial decrees. I was excluded from dress shopping for being too opinionated about budget. At the engagement party, Ashley gave a toast thanking our dear Isabella, who's so generous because she has, a pretty empty calendar. The polite laughter felt like shards of glass. The final straw came 2 weeks before the wedding, when Ashley, furious I'd questioned a $5,000 upgrade from monogrammed napkins, removed me from the wedding party. "We need people who support our vision, Isabella, not critique it," she'd hissed. Tyler, my own brother, had stood silently beside her, a traitor in a rented tuxedo. What they never understood, what their blinding sense of entitlement obscured, was my professional nature. I don't just transfer money, I manage systems. Every single vendor contract for their dream day was executed in my name. Every deposit, every progress payment came from my dedicated credit cards and accounts. The florist, the caterer, the divine plate, the band, the vintage car service, they all had my signature on their agreements. My annoying spreadsheets and check-in calls weren't micromanagement, they were the maintenance of absolute control. They saw my generosity as a weakness. I knew it was a leverage point. So when Ashley delivered her coup de grace at the reception, a strange calm settled on me. I looked at my brother's averted face, at Ashley's triumphant smirk. "You're right," I said, my voice eerily steady. "I should go. Enjoy your intimate dinner." I walked out, head high, as Ashley announced loudly to a nearby table, "Sometimes you have to prune the guest list to keep the energy pure." I didn't go to my car. I walked to the serene, empty courtyard garden of the venue, sat on a stone bench under a string of lights, and opened my phone. My first call was to Elena, the florist. "Elena, it's Isabella. I need you to retrieve all your arrangements from the main hall and the head table immediately. Yes, right now. The contract is canceled effective immediately. I'll email the formal notice, but start packing up." "Isabella, they're in the middle of toasts." "Now, please. I am the sole contracting party. I'll cover the full penalty and your team's extra time." Next was Chef Marco at the Divine Plate. Chef, Isabella, stop all meal service, do not serve the main course. Begin packing up all remaining food and non-alcoholic beverages for immediate removal. Dio mio, señora, the guests are seated. The contract is terminated. I authorize double the strike fee. Please have your staff begin removal in 10 minutes. Be discreet, but swift. I called the band leader, the bartending service, instructing them to cease pouring premium liquor and switch to a cash bar. With each call, I was the model of cool, professional termination, citing Clause 12B of my meticulously reviewed contracts. The chaos would be orchestrated, legal, and absolute. As I made the final call, Tyler came sprinting into the courtyard, his bow tie asky. Izzy, what the hell are you doing? The flowers are vanishing. The waiters are taking food away from tables. I looked up from my phone. You told me to leave, Tyler, so I am. I'm just taking what's mine with me. You can't do this. This is our wedding. I stood, showing him my screen, a directory of every vendor with contract holder Isabella V highlighted. I can, and I just did. You and Ashley treated my love like a line of credit. Consider the balance called in. Inside, the scene was unfolding like a slow-motion disaster. Guests watched in confused horror as lush centerpieces were whisked away, half-eaten plates were cleared with no replacements, and the band packed up their instruments mid-set. The food booth lights went dark, the open bar became a single cash register with overpriced beer and house wine. Ashley's shrieks of rage were audible even from outside. My parents found me, their faces pale. Isabella, this is too far, my father pleaded. You're humiliating them. For 6 months, they humiliated me, I replied quietly. You all did. You watched them treat me like a wallet and said nothing. Tonight isn't me causing a scene. It's me ending the performance. I left before security, who I noted with grim satisfaction, were also on my vendor list, could be deployed against me. The fallout was nuclear. Tyler and Ashley's marriage, built on a foundation of financial fantasy and entitlement, crumbled within 2 years. Some family members, those with a shred of conscience, later apologized. Most just stopped calling, their favorite ATM suddenly out of service. The expensive lesson was finally mine to give, not to fund. I learned that generosity without boundaries is self-annihilation. True family doesn't see your heart only when it's printed on a check. That night, I didn't just cancel the payments. I canceled my subscription to their version of me, and the peace that followed was worth every single penny I never had to spend again.